Hello there, lovely people. It's Alex from Nintendolife here, and, well, if you haven't been living under a rock, you'll know that Super Smash Bros. For Nintendo Switch is entirely a thing. At the moment, we know basically nothing about it. We know that the Inklings are going to be in it. We know the Breath of the Wild Link is going to be in it, or at least if he's not, that would be a massive injustice. But apart from that, it is anyone's guess who's going to be in this latest installment and whether or not it's going to be a port or a proper thing, but that's not what we're going to talk about. There are so many people that are so adamant on both sides of the argument. It's like, you can't both be right. So today we're going to give you a laundry list of the top 10, so not really a laundry list, characters we'd love to see in Super Smash Bros. For the Nintendo Switch. It's going to be exciting, and we all know who's going to be at number 1. But anyway, that's more than enough waffling. Let's dive right into things. If you've been paying attention to the internet, then yes, you'll know that Labo Man is kind of a thing, and lots and lots and lots of people want him in Smash, and I can entirely see why. It's kind of a little bit like Wii Fit Trainer in the sense that it's sort of a peripheral and a sort of an outside, not really technically gamery type thing, but still an important part of Nintendo coming into Smash, and I think it would be absolutely great. To be honest, when I first saw Wii Fit Trainer for Super Smash Bros. For Wii U and 3DS, I thought it was a terrible idea. I thought it was a terrible idea, but over time I've really warmed to Wii Fit Trainer, and I think it's a really fun, ridiculous, and just mad inclusion, and I think it works really well. And Super Smash Bros. Is all about celebrating all things Nintendo, so why the hell not? Let's have Labo Man in. Also, you know, being cardboard and having all these different applications, the moveset possibilities are enormous. There's even been a little animation that someone has made. I'm sorry, I can't remember your name, but hopefully I'll put it in text, showing what Labo Man could be like if they were introduced into Smash. It's good fun, and it just makes me want it all the more. You might be thinking, Alex, why have you chosen Helix and not Springman? Well, there's one good point. I prefer Helix. Also, on the whole, I think Helix has got arguably a more interesting moveset. You know, the fact that he's gelatinous can provide all sorts of wonderful things. You know, things like the dodge could be him going into his crouched pose in arms and like dodging away. That's easy peasy. You know, there are so many great opportunities for great moves with Helix. And yes, you could get them with Springman or one of the other characters, and that's fine. But you know, if you're gonna go full arms, might as well go for the most interesting. Also, who doesn't want to see Helix running across the stage in his victory animation going although that is kind of annoying, but in a fun way. You may be surprised to hear that this is not an entirely original idea. Yes, there have been people clamoring for Tetra to be involved in Super Smash Bros. For about as long as Tetra's been a character at all, and it's clear to see why. She's sassy, she's great fun, she's got the potential for a really great moveset by being a pirate and stuff like that. Also, we don't have a pirate character yet. We've got a pirate level in the pirate ship, which is also kind of linked to Tetra, but we don't have a pirate character. And no, Sea of Thieves is not going in Smash. You could argue that we've already technically got a Zelda character, but we've also already got Sheik, and, you know, the possibility, I mean, we've already got Toon Link, and Toon Link and Link are so vastly not different that to have a character as different as Tetra, even though she is technically Zelda, spoiler alert, I think gives more grounds, and overall I think is a great idea. And also, I think she's just a brilliant character, and I like her, so bring her in. Again, not entirely an original idea by me. I'm not going to hang around on King K. Rool for too long because so many people have poured their hearts and souls into giving even like full moveset possibilities for King K. Rool because he is a beloved character, and it would be great to get some more villain representation because at the moment we've not got that many. I don't know how many we've got off the top of my head because I don't prepare much for these videos. Also, another heavy character is never a bad thing. King K. Rool could be like, even like an ultra heavy, maybe the heaviest character in the game, because he is so enormous, and whilst Bowser is big, King K. Rool is sort of grotesquely big. And has, you know, like, you've seen Donkey Kong. The size of Donkey Kong is nearly the same size as Bowser. I mean, he's a bit smaller, but there really isn't that much between them. And King K. Rool is huge in comparison, especially in 64. That's bonkers. He probably won't be that big, especially when you're Tiny Kong. That's kind of horrible. But he'd be great, and it would be lovely to get another Rare character in there. Well, he's a Nintendo character, but only really been done by Rare. Has King K. Rool really been in any games that weren't made by Rare? I think a couple, but overall, not really. Again, not entirely original, but you know what? A good idea is a good idea, so I don't care if I'm copying people. I've not actually played that many Shantae games. I've played the most recent one, Half Genie Hero. I've also played The Pirate's Curse, and overall, I haven't really been playing Shantae games for that long, but she's such an endearing character. She's really sort of cute and sweet and, you know, arguably a little bit saucy. In fact, there's no arguably about it. She's got great potential for moves as well with her hair and everything, and it could be an interesting way to really expand upon her character, because whilst we know about her personality, we don't know that much about how she fights beyond how we use her in-game, and I'm sure there's plenty of other things that you could implement to make her a really interesting character. Think Diddy Kong, because Diddy Kong really didn't have that many moves until he was brought into Smash. But they all seem to fit his personality really well, and I think you could do the same with Shantae. Also, if anyone's thinking she won't get in because she's a little bit too saucy, Bayonetta. Shovel Knight. I don't know really what else there is to say. I mean, I've been wanting Shovel Knight in Smash for years now, and Nintendo is having really, really positive relations with all of these indies, and I think Shovel Knight has almost become like the face of indies, certainly the face of nindies, which is kind of a weird thing to say because there are so many and they're so varied, but indie representation would be fantastic, and why not have the flagship indie game that really set the bar and everyone was like, whoa, indie games are actually good, or at least some of the naysayers were, although you could argue it started with Cave Story. Again, like all the other characters, great potential for moveset, looks great. I love Shovel Knight. Shovel Knight. Oh, I had you with the Helix thing. Did you think Helix was going to be the only character on this list from ARMS? Maybe. Why Ribbon Girl of all the characters? Well, simply put, I think the aerial stuff with Ribbon Girl makes it a much more interesting and viable choice for Smash Bros. You know, having the multiple jumps and everything, that translates very well into Super Smash Bros. And also, I think, you know, as sort of in terms of like a basic character, she's probably the most interesting. She's vanilla, but she's still got more interesting characteristics over things like Springman, who I love Springman, but he's a bit white bread. We can have them both, why not? Let's have Springman and Ribbon Girl, because if you can have Lucina and Marth, you can have Springman and Ribbon Girl. Banjo Kazooie. Now, this isn't entirely unfounded, because it's not. A number of years ago, Phil Spencer, the CEO, I think, CEO or something else of Microsoft, famously said that he'd be well up for Banjo and Kazooie appearing in Smash. I'm paraphrasing. And honestly, I don't think there's any other character out there that has the most potential for a moveset than Banjo and Kazooie, considering they've had, well, technically 4 games, I think, like proper Banjo games, and one of them was Nuts and Bolts, which I love, but it's not a Banjo game. And even so, Banjo and Kazooie have got, what, 400 moves between them? Maybe more? Probably fewer. It's obvious and it's more exciting than having Master Chief, and to have that sort of Microsoft representation would be kind of cool. I wish there was still Nintendo. No, she wouldn't be the same as Samus. This isn't like a Dark Pit situation. Dark Samus and Samus only really share visual similarities. Everything else pretty much appears to be entirely different. Dark Samus is Metroid Prime, if you didn't know. Spoilers. She's just wearing the Phazon suit. I say she. Do Metroids have sexes? I'm going to call her she because it's easier. But she's got all her Phazon moves. You've seen her, no doubt, as an assist trophy if you've played Super Smash Bros. For Wii U or 3DS. And yet you can see that her moveset could be so different to Samus's. Like, there would be, the only comparison would be they kind of look the same. And I'm not talking like Fire Emblem differences. I'm talking like they are crazy different. As far as I remember, which isn't very well. Dark Samus is a little bit more up close and personal, a little bit more sort of close combat orientated, not entirely, and yes, she does have ranged moves, I know, but even so, I think there's so much potential in there, and let's get some more Metroid representation, and they've said we're not having Ridley, so let's have Dark Samus instead.
Take this, Mr. Eyeballs.
I want Waluigi in Smash for one reason above all others, apart from the fact that he bloody deserves it, and that's so that if he doesn't win a game, he can shout, "Cheetah!" That was rubbish. Cheetah! That was a bit better. He's weirdly almost like a representative of the Mario sports spin-off games, because, you know, he's only really ever appeared in those. He's had cameos in other games as well, but overall, those are his bag. So for his moveset, he could use tennis rackets, cards, you know, the striker's football, that'd be cool, and loads of other things, and also he's just such a weird character. I love him to pieces. I used to dislike him. I used to think, I hate Waluigi, he's too weird, and now I think, I love Waluigi, he's too weird. I really don't think I need to sit here and say why Waluigi deserves to be in, because anybody who just wanted to hear the list has already clicked off the video. And so if you're still here, thanks, you're the hardcore. So there's our list, but what do you want? What do you want to see in Super Smash Bros. In terms of characters? Let us know down there in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, then why don't you vote for that subscribe button in this year's Fighter ballot, which there isn't, don't get excited, and be sure to check out nintendolife.com for all sorts of lovely Nintendo related content. Thank you again for watching, bye bye. I've just spent like an hour talking to myself. But it seems to work, to say the least, doesn't it, precious? It seems to work.